Have you ever walked into a room and then completely forgotten why you went in there in the first place? Or maybe you're standing in your kitchen, you open up your fridge, you look into your fridge and you're thinking, why did I come here and what did I want again? If that sounds familiar, you are not alone. That fuzzy, scattered, almost cloudy feeling is called brain fog, and it's something so many of us experience, especially moms. And here's the thing, it doesn't mean that you're crazy or lazy, and it definitely doesn't mean that you are not sharp enough or not smart enough. And today, I want to talk about what brain fog really is and why it happens, especially during motherhood. And most importantly, I want to share some real and practical things that you can do to clear the fog once and for all and feel a little bit more like yourself again. Hello friend, and welcome back. If you're new to my channel, I am so glad you found me. My name is Eva. I am a mom of 3, and I'm incredibly passionate about motherhood wellness, and that is what I talk about right here on this channel, along with mindsets and self-growth and encouragement and motivation and inspiration, because I'm such a strong believer that every mom deserves to thrive and not just survive in motherhood. So let's start simple, okay? What exactly is brain fog? Brain fog is more of a way to describe what it feels like when your mind is cloudy, when it feels scattered, when it feels a little bit cluttered. It's when you can't quite think as clearly as you used to, or focus the way that you used to. And there are signs that you might recognize. Like one of the signs is maybe you lose your train of thought mid-sentence, right? Maybe you forget some simple words. Another sign is maybe you forget why you opened up your phone, right? Who's done that? Like you go to reach for your phone, you unlock it, you go to your browser, and you're like, what did I want to search for again? It happens to me way too often than I care to admit. Another sign is, let's say you're reading a book and you read a paragraph and then you instantly forget what the paragraph was about, so you have to reread it again, right? So this right here is a big one, and I think it's one of the reasons why our attention spans have gotten less and less over the years. I honestly blame social media for this. Our attention span really does get affected by the use of social media, and it's really sad to see what it's doing to our kids, but also to our own brains and our own minds. Like I noticed that about myself. I used to be such an avid reader, and I still really love books, but it becomes harder and harder to read. Like I don't know if you have noticed that, but it becomes harder to read. Like you open up a book and sometimes I catch myself thinking, I'm like, I need to reread this page, or I need to reread this paragraph. I think there's a fruit fly in my room. Go away, fruit fly. And just a lot of different thoughts that are in our head. And the reason why I blame social media on this is that, and I may record a video on this later on because I think it's such an important topic, but also very interesting because the way that it affects our psychology is very interesting. Is that I think when we're scrolling on our phones all the time, we're used to getting short bursts of information all the time, and our brain is just constantly just working and activated. And when you're reading, you have to give it a little bit more effort, right? And there's not enough of that dopamine rush. You kind of have to get through the chapter to get that dopamine, right? And sometimes our brains are just so wired because just for our phones. I blame our phones, and I blame social media. Another sign is if you feel exhausted, even after you have let's say a good night's sleep, right? Or a really long, really nice nap. And I like to think of it like this, okay? So let's say your brain is like a clear window, okay? And brain fog is when that window gets a little bit smudgy or a little bit dirty. The light can still come through. You can still see through the window, but it's not as clear. It's harder to see clearly. So that is kind of my example of what brain fog is like if you want to visualize it. Now, this is important, okay? I should have actually led with this. Look, I want to add this. Brain fog can be normal in seasons of motherhood, but if it's constant, if you find that it's getting worse, or if you find that it's paired with extreme fatigue or anxiety or just low mood or low energy, please reach out to your doctor, because sometimes underlying things like, let's say, a thyroid imbalance or anemia or just even vitamin and mineral deficiency, it can cause brain fog too. So please get checked out if you feel that it's a little bit more serious. All right, now for the part that you probably came for. What can you actually do about it? So here are 5 simple, realistic ways that make a difference. Number 1 is prioritize sleep where you can, whenever you can. I know sleep advice for moms can feel almost laughable, but even small shifts matter, right? Maybe it's going to bed 30 minutes earlier instead of scrolling on your phone. You can do it. I know you can. Maybe it's asking your partner or a family member to cover an early morning or a late night shift. And look, I know this is hard to do if you don't have a village. I don't have a village. I do have a partner. I have my family, but they all live far away. My partner doesn't live far away. He lives with me. But my family, they live far away, so they can't exactly help me with the kids throughout the day. But there's always time, right? Like how much time do you spend on your phone? How much time do you, after the kids go to sleep, how much time do you actually spend on the couch watching TV? Use this time to rest, right? Go to sleep 30 minutes earlier. Take a nice bath so you can fully relax. Read a book before bed if you find that your mind is racing all the time. I always find that a book really calms me down and almost makes me drowsy and sleepy. Like I find that it's again, going back to like reading situation, I find that it's really difficult for me to just read for long periods of stretches these days during this season of my life. So usually like 5, 10, 15 pages in, I'm ready to just go to sleep right then and there, right? So this really helps. I think, at least to me, is if you're having trouble sleeping, that is something that you can easily do. Just open a book and start reading it. Put away your phone, okay? No scrolling. So tip number 2 is support your body with nutrition. Please stay hydrated. Even, honestly, mild dehydration can make your brain feel sluggish and foggy. So keep a water bottle nearby. And instead of skipping meals or honestly just running on caffeine like I do, think about fueling yourself with small balanced snacks throughout the day. Honestly, it doesn't have to be very complicated. It could be like a boiled egg with some hummus, with some veggies on the side. It could be just like simple Greek yogurt with some granola. Could be just an apple and a banana, honestly, like something really simple. You don't have to go all out. But these kinds of foods, they give your brain energy. And, instead of like quick bursts and spikes and crashes, they give your brain and your body energy throughout the day. Number 3 is manage the mental load. Our brains are just tired, not just from doing, but from holding all of these thoughts. So try doing a brain dump. Actually, brain dump, I don't like that term. Honestly, every time I hear it, it sounds really harsh. It sounds like your thoughts are like clutter and trash, and like you just want to dump it. That's not the energy I want to convey. So let's think of another way that we can call this. Mental declutter. Perfect. Okay. So every time we do a declutter, usually what we do is we take things out and we do a quick audit. What needs to stay, what needs to go, and what needs to just be organized in neat little bins. So do a mental declutter. Literally gather all of your mental clutter, all of your mental thoughts, and write down everything floating in your head. And it doesn't even have to make sense. If you've ever heard of Julia Cameron before, so she has this methodology called the morning pages, which is basically in the morning, the first thing that you do is you get out your notebook and then you just pour out all of your thoughts that you have in your head on 3 pages. And it doesn't have to be pretty, it doesn't have to be organized. It could be like just messy. It doesn't even have to make sense, but it really helps. It helps to organize your thoughts later on. It helps to just kind of like get it out of your system, get it out of your head, good and bad things and all this stuff in our head. Like it's honestly, if we could just like look inside our brain and just understand what goes on in it, I think men really can't understand. Men really can't understand, especially a mom brain. But anyway, the reason why this helps is because when everything is swirling around in your head, your brain treats it like it has to just remember everything right now. And that's exhausting. But once you write it out, once you write it down, your brain recognizes first that it's stored somewhere, so it doesn't have to keep on spinning the same reminders on repeats, right? You can always get back to those thoughts, but get it out of your head. And again, you don't even have to write it out, right? You can type it out. You can say it out loud. You can record, your voice on a voice memo on your phone. You can also talk to ChatGPT and ask him to organize your thoughts for you so that you can plug it into your calendar or your to-do list for later on. Maybe you can ask for ChatGPT what he or she thinks about your thoughts and your ideas, and that will kind of get a flow going and brainstorm session going. Anyway, I do it all the time. Again, I'm sharing the things that work for me, but you do you, right? Like if it's morning pages, if it's just like a quick message to yourself, even on your phone, if it's a quick like calendar invite to yourself, like not to forget a specific event. All right, so tip number 4 is move your body. This does not have to mean like a full gym or full workout. Think stroller walks, Think stepping outside for some fresh air, maybe putting on music and dancing in the kitchen with your kids, right? Make it fun. But the reason why this works is movement literally increases blood flow and oxygen to your brain. And this helps you with more clarity and focus. So even gentle movement, stretching, walking, swaying to music with your kids, it tells your nervous system, you're safe, you're okay, you've got this. And this little signal calms stress hormones, it boosts your energy, and it just makes it easier to think clearly. So instead of waiting for the perfect time to work out, I know we always use this excuse, I'm just gonna wait for Monday and I'm gonna work out on Monday. Look for tiny ways to weave movement into your day. So these small bursts of activity, they can make a surprisingly big difference in clearing that fog. Tip number 5 is give your brain little reboots every now and then. So this could be something really simple, like 5 minutes of deep breathing, or just, stepping outside for some fresh air. Look, our brains were not designed to go nonstop, okay? We need breaks every now and then. And when we pause, even briefly, even for just a few minutes, it resets the stress response in our body. A few deep breaths, they can do wonders. They can lower cortisol. They can bring more oxygen into your bloodstream. They can signal your nervous system to just relax. And then stepping outside adds the bonus of natural light and fresh air, and it helps regulate your energy and your mood. And these micro breaks, they may feel too small to matter and kind of insignificant in your grandiose day-to-day, but they really do stack up. And over time, they train you and your brain to kind of shift out of that constant on mode and back into a state where you can think more clearly, where you can focus better, and just where you feel a little bit more grounded. Now, my bonus tip, okay, I didn't have this on the list, but I just thought of it, is try affirmations. So affirmations, if you've never used them before, they can be so powerful. Speaking kind, grounding words to yourself, they can really shift your mindset. They can calm your body. They can, help you breathe more evenly and deeply. And it's a way of reminding your brain of the truth when the fog just makes everything feel heavy and just a little bit unclear. And you know what? It works. And here's why this works. Affirmations activate that part of your brain that influences thought patterns and mood. And when you repeat the same positive affirmation phrases and words, they start to rewire your inner dialogue about yourself. They help you move away from self-criticism into a more calmer, more focused state. And even a simple phrase like, I am present, I am capable, I am enough. These words, these phrases, they can create a sense of clarity and peace. I have a whole video on positive motherhood affirmations that I will link for you here and also in the description box below if you want to check it out. Another reason why I think affirmations are so wonderful, while you do it, you are breathing. You're breathing through it. Of course, you can listen to affirmations at any point in the day. I sometimes listen to them as I'm getting ready in the day, or maybe I'm washing dishes, or even if I'm going on a stroller walk and I don't want to, sometimes when I go on a stroller walk, I listen to like a podcast or something, but sometimes you just want to give your brain a break because, too much information is also not good. Like you do need to just calm your mind every now and then. And then I breathe. And then I listen to these affirmations and I kind of say them to myself, sometimes out loud, sometimes in my head. And then I just breathe, and it really helps. It brings that fresh air into your body and just really does clear the thoughts. So if you've never tried positive affirmations before, it doesn't even have to be positive affirmations. It could be neutral affirmations. I think I will record a video on neutral affirmations. I think a lot of people could benefit from that, especially those that are not ready for really positive affirmations at this point, but just do try it because I think it will help you. Anyway, to wrap up, okay, brain fog is common. All right, it happens when your body and mind are under stress. So this could be from hormones, lack of sleep, too much on your plate, not enough fuel in your body. But the good news is with small intentional changes like better rest, more nourishment, effective stress release, and just more effective movement, we can start to clear that fog. And just remember this, please, okay? If today feels fuzzy, it does not change the fact that you are a capable, strong, and amazing mom. Please remember that. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Do you struggle with brain fog, or have you ever struggled with it? And if so, what is something that helps you feel a little bit more clearer? And if this video resonated with you, make sure to watch this video next, which talks about the emotional, mental, and physical load of motherhood and how it can contribute to the brain fog that we often experience and that we talked about today. Until next time, I wish you the most beautiful day. Please take care of yourself, and I will see you soon. Bye.